Welcome to the segment we like to call "Is There Something on Your Mind?" And again, my name is Maurice Carver. I'm Executive Director of Stride Incorporated and the host of your show. And we have a great talent that we want to expose to our audience. This brother is so gifted. I mean, I can tell you that when you see his work, your mouth is just going to drop. Welcome to the show, Brother Davis, Brother Nick Davis.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. How you guys doing? Thank you.
So I hope you're down there safe and everybody is blessed. We want to give props to the Weekly Challenger, which did an excellent article on you, which is how I found you. You know, it's a black
Thank you so
newspaper,
much.
a black newspaper, and of course, we need to be supporting our black newspapers that support us. So,
Most definitely.
I just want to say to you, brother Nick, that the your art is so powerful, so moving, and you did a new series which you call Black is Beautiful, my brother. And you are so right, because the work that you have demonstrated is that we might say off the hook. It is amazing, my brother. It is amazing.
Thank you so much.
I,
Thank
I,
you.
I just wonder, brother, what motivated you? What got you started in to be able to use this process to demonstrate your gifts and your talents?
Well, all my life I've been encouraged by art. My family is just full of painters, just full of artists, and I've always wanted to create images that pretty much influence people. So I started researching best Basquiat, Hindi Wali, uh, Earl Walker, and Kerry James Marshall. What I've learned from them is emotion and the ability not to care what people are going to say when it comes to expression.
Hmm.
And through that, and my work is really inspired by Kerry James Marshall. Um, Kerry James Marshall showed that Black art isn't being shown in the art world at all. And the only way for you to actually show Black art and to actually be the change that you want to see is that you have to actually be able to produce it. And for me, I realized that Kerry James Marshall, he he already had the example of Black people in art, but I believe love in the community and just encouraging and help isn't really being shown. So alongside with Kerry James Marshall, my mission is to show love and just to encourage people to actually help people, just to be there for other ones and just to be able to, I don't know, just take it one day at a time and just love.
But brother, I mean, we definitely can see the love in the pictures that you've created. I'm telling you, I'm you have and this is interesting for a man to say. I mean, just looking at your work, I experienced the gambit from joy to tears. I mean, your work has moved me. And it
Thank
really
you.
speaks to my heart. I mean, and I think it's powerful for you to talk about the issue Black is beautiful when we have so many negative connotations that are connected to the word black,
Yes.
where we tried to retrieve that word. But I will tell you this. I mean, you said Basquiat, like Basquiat was from Brooklyn and stuff, but I'll and so you were influenced by Brooklyn.
I really feel like this is just it's just my purpose in just in the community, and I feel as if, like I said earlier, in order to be the change, you have to actually produce a change. And with me not being able to work and at the moment with epilepsy and having seizures and stuff like that, it's just been a very anxious time for me. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with drugs. It's just been a lot just been going on these past few years that have brought me to this point. And I had to realize that you have to go through struggle to almost appreciate your beauty. And
Mm.
if you don't understand how good that your life is at that moment, you'll never be satisfied with who you are. And I had to learn that I had to address who I am and not be afraid of what people are going to say.
Well, there's one other thing that you mentioned in the article and stuff, and they always say that this is true. Behind any a good man is a good woman and stuff, and so Your wonderful wife, your beautiful wife, Tiffany LeRae Davis.
Oh yes.
She's credited with helping you get started. What did she do?
Actually, it was her and my mother. They brought me my first iPad, and like I said, last year, about 2 years ago, I wasn't had to stop working, and I've been literally just stuck in the house literally every single day. I wake up, I go straight to drawing, and I'm drawing all day long. And my wife she really just encouraged me. She's never held me back. She's never disencouraged me. She's had my back this whole time. I understand it's not easy for her right now with her being the main source of everything, but she has my back, and I really appreciate it.
Well, brother, I can tell you, man. We air from coast to coast, from the Brooklyn Bridge to the San Francisco Great Gate Bridge, and I'm sure that once people get to see, how great your work is, how uplifting your work is, how inspiring your work is, how needed your work is, in a time where again we have this pushback, in a time in this country where we and you young people especially have been pushing back to reclaim the things that have been stolen from us, to get reparations and get the things that are owed to us. You are 100% right. It is a calling that you have on your life, and I was looking at your page today. I was looking at the young black sister that had the mask on her face. I get joy out of watching the drum major. I get joy out of watching the young lady, who was you had an ice cream, like an ice cream cone. I'll tell you, I was looking at the brother that was getting his haircut. I mean, all those things I remember as part of growing up in our communities, and that's the things that don't get expressed. The everyday things in life,
Yes.
the expressions of love, like you talked about. You said, I think it's black is encouraging, black is inspiring, black is love.
I really think that our community really doesn't see how beautiful we are, and every moment, every movement we make is a piece of art. Uh, we are very creative, but I think the biggest thing with our community is that we lack forgiveness and we lack love.
Mm.
And once we get that forgiveness in our hearts, we can realize that nothing can stop us. There's so many things that hold us down that we don't want to address, and we just try to hide it under drugs. We try to hide it under emotions and stuff like that. But until we actually express how we really feel, we're really just in cycles. And then I had to realize that for myself, and I'm just now getting to the point where I'm realizing how beautiful my life is.
Um, what would you say to young people that are out there that are interested in learning? Because I know you were talking about that, because I watched one of your interviews. You said that you want to be able to impart your gifts to young people. What would you say to them in terms of them trying to express themselves in this particular way?
Um, Expression goes where happiness is, in a sense. Once you stop caring about what people are going to say, you'll realize that happiness or your purpose really just goes where you're happy. If you're happy at working at McDonald's, if you're happy at uh, helping somebody just across the street, that's what your purpose is. We have to realize that not everybody's meant to be a superstar. Not everybody's meant to be a famous actor or something like that. And I think that's our millennials' goals and the new generation. We all want to be stars. And once you realize that we all, like the Bible says, we all have a different fingerprint. And
Mm.
once you realize that, you realize that you have your own purpose and you realize that you have your own value. And I believe that not everybody's going to, like, I listen to a lot of J. Cole, and J. Cole once said, if the community really just invested in their gifts, they would be rich or famous by now. And it's just like, you
Hmm.
have to stay focused. You have to stay focused on your purpose. If you wake up drawing and you know that you have art in your heart or you have music in your heart, stay focused on it. You have to realize not every day is going to be good. Not every day is going to be the best day, but you have to see your purpose. You have to see how value your music or your art is more than anybody else. there's always going to be somebody who's better than you. And once you realize that, you have to realize that my art is just as good as anybody else's. I just have to stay focused.
Well, you know, they talked about Kwame Bradford, and one of the things that they used to say about him was he was the keeper of the images, my brother. So I'm telling you now, man, I can say that for my generation, that's been passed on to you. You are the keeper of our images. You are the person that's speaking to
Thank you
us.
so much.
And so I see that your family has instilled like that in you to tell you and to speak truth into your life, to speak the truth about the gifts and talents that you have, and to encourage you, man. Because people don't realize encouragement is powerful. Because
It really
encouragement comes
is.
from where, Nick? It comes from love. And what's the only power that never fails? Love is the only
Love.
power that never fails.
And that's what we have to stay focused on. If we focus on just not trying to be the best person and just focus on love, I believe that will change the whole world. And that's just how we have to focus. We have to change our perspectives on how we see people. We have to see that everybody is valuable.
Yeah, that's definitely true, and we see that in your artwork because you depict everyday lives of different individuals, and it doesn't matter how they look or how they dress or whatever. They all are gifts of God, and I see that in the images you put out there. I'm telling you, people, you have to see his work, and not this, and this other thing I want to say to people out there, not just see his work, support his work, brother. If they
Thank you.
want to buy things, if they want to, I mean, I don't know how your business model is and stuff, but if there's a way that they can get in touch with you to purchase your pictures, to purchase any books that you've done, or to actually commission you to do work, how do they do that?
At the moment, I do have a website in the process, but for the moment, they can just message me on Instagram or they can email me directly.
Right, and you have a wonderful assistant, Tasha, that certainly will help anybody I
Yes,
can
it's great.
to get in touch with you and things. I think again, it's important that we support each other.
Means are just to bring the digital arts to the community. That's my goals. It's it's slow, but it's hopefully I'm praying that we'll get there.
Right. Well, Nick, it says in the word that you were created for the time, for this purpose, for this time like this, and for your gifts and talents to be expressed. And it's a blessing to see such a young man to be so wise and gifted, my brother. This is why you watch Black Men Screaming. For intelligent conversation with intelligent people. Be back with more of it in just a moment.